give a piss about nothing but the time. Blitz, Bama, blitz.
Give me Alabama to break
It's when somebody takes what's yours. And this is our game. It's our turn. And here's the guy's trying to take it from us. So that makes this shit personal.
And let's make it personal, guys. My mic was muted to start off with. Sorry about that, but we in here tonight. JT, your host right here of Talk'N Bama, Sunday night, as always. And up top with me is Herb. How you doing tonight, Herb?
I'm just excited. I apologize for not wearing my suit in. You know, I feel like I should have been a little bit better dressed, but I'm always excited to have a great guest. So.
Yes, and Domo as well with us. How you doing tonight, Domo?
Feeling good, feeling blessed, ready to get the ball rolling, man. Let's go.
Love it, love it, love it. And guys, chat, make sure y'all, as y'all join us tonight, make sure y'all show some love. We got a special guest in the house tonight, Mr. Wyatt from 100.9, the radio station. If you guys don't know about it, you need to check it out. How you living tonight, brother?
Doing good. It's a chilly but beautiful night here in Tuscaloosa.
Okay, yeah, and that weather was crazy. So the weather went from 80s to 40 today, and I was like,
literally, yeah. Yesterday I was producing the Bama softball game there on another one of our stations there, and I was in there in gym shorts and a t-shirt. Woke up this morning to go do the next softball game, and hoodie, sweatpants. It was wild.
Yes.
And that's crazy because Alabama's weather is probably more bipolar than any person I could ever imagine. Okay, Alabama's weather is if you looked up bipolar in the dictionary, it'd probably say Alabama weather because.
Yes.
Good God, our weather is crazy here. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, Roll Tide Nation. We got Raj in here as always.
What up, my boy?
I said Roll Tide Nation, not Roll Tide Productions. That's my man Bentley right there. First and 10, guys, going to kick it off tonight. We do this a newer segment we're doing, guys. First 10 minutes, we're going to spend talking about what's going on with the Tide right now. Why you're a guest tonight. I'm going to let you kick us off. What is something on a first and 10 going on with the Tide right now? Maybe basketball, maybe recruiting. What's something you got for us tonight?
I think it's got to be this basketball team. You know, they were coming out of that game against Florida. I wasn't certain they were going to be a top 8 seed in the SEC tournament. I wasn't sure. Like I was thinking maybe round of 64 exit if you get a really bad draw. But now they've rattled off 5 or 6 wins. It's the longest win streak of the season here. You beat probably what I would say is your toughest opponent left on this schedule in Arkansas in the wild double overtime thriller there on Wednesday night, and then take care of your business against LSU. You got to take on Josh Hubbard this week, and then you go to Knoxville at the end of the week there with that matchup with Tennessee. But I mean, if Alabama can handle their business here, we're looking at Alabama potentially being the number 2 seed in the SEC tournament, which puts you on the opposite side of the bracket from Florida. So you're not going to run into the Gators, on Friday or Saturday. It would have to be Sunday that you run into them. And then I know the NCAA committee just did their bracket kind of reveal, or not bracket reveal, top 4 seeds reveal. And they said Alabama was one of the first teams out. So if you can handle your business the rest of this season, that would include the win against Tennessee and Knoxville, beating Auburn in that final regular season game as well, make a pretty deep run in the SEC tournament. I think Bama's locked in at, 5, maybe even a low 4 seed there when you look at the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's going to be the biggest disconnect from some people because – so where I get at that is at the beginning of the season, people were like, okay, we're going to be, everybody's expecting that Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4 type of team. It's what the expectation is built. And then now you go into we had that down drop, lost some games. We're losing some games we shouldn't. We get blew out by Florida. And then this team gets hot at the right time. And basketball is all about getting hot at the right time, in my opinion. You can go 50-0 and play a team that's hot, that's 23-20. And they beat you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that happen.
It would be nice to solve this Tennessee thing, though, along the way.
Yeah.
Because no matter what happens with them, they seem to have our number. So,
that is very true.
I think the Arkansas team is better, but Tennessee just, for whatever reason, style of play, coaching, whatever, just seems to get us, even when we feel like we're the much better team. So, I'd like to solve them along the way. But the rest of the time, I agree.
I will say the last couple of matchups against Tennessee, I feel like have been pretty interesting. You remember you had that game in Knoxville last year that Bama, until the last second shot went in, I felt like Bama had a pretty good control of it until the buzzer beater. And then that game there in Tuscaloosa, there was just so much with it, with Bediako coming back and, guys being injured, guys potentially, playing hurt. And so I like the direction that they're going against Tennessee, but obviously I got to see them win one of those games at some point.
Yeah,
I agree that man, I forgot about it. You just reminded me, Wyatt. I forgot about the buzzer beater, and you just made me have a whole oh my God, trauma with the bombs in the background. I'm like, no, because I had a buddy of mine called me and was like, "We beat y'all."
I thought it was good. I thought it was good to see them pull out a win where LeBaron Feiland was not really himself. Or was it yesterday night or whenever? And usually when it's like that, it's not a great outcome for Alabama. But man, luckily the guys around them picked up the slack, did their parts. I like the two freshmen in the starting lineup, man, especially London Jemison. I feel like he's found his role pretty quickly in the starting lineup. And I also like the idea with Trell coming off the bench where he can really be that shooter and that scoring option for you off the bench. He had 14 against LSU. So I think we're headed in a pretty good direction right now. So I like what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Go ahead, bro.
I'm loving the rotation right now. Like you said,
Yeah.
Amari Allen, London Jemison. Jemison dealt with some injuries early in the year, but now that he's gotten healthy and he's actually getting good minutes, love what he's doing on the court right now. I thought Amari Allen may be a 3-and-done type player. It's now trending towards he may be a 1-and-done type kid. He's been so good for Bama this year. And then, like you mentioned with Phylon, most of the time, if he's not on his A game, it's not a good night. But he wasn't on his A game because he's banged up, and Bama still found a way to win, which was very, very encouraging to see. And then, like you mentioned, Latrell and Houston Millette coming off that bench there, those two guys being that veteran presence in that second group of people there. I think Oates has finally figured out what this lineup can look like.
So Herb, Roger said if we went out and beat Tennessee, I'll give Herb a raise. So your brother said he'll give you a raise.
Hey, somebody screenshot that. Make sure you hold him accountable.
We're gonna save that. We're gonna save that.
He pays me $0, so I guess he's thinking about doubling or tripling it. So, woo, Raj, appreciate you, buddy.
That is hilarious. So, hey, Domo, was yours about Jimerson your 1st and 10 take, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you had anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, shout out to the softball team as well, man. My girls over there balling. And listen, Vic Moten, okay, the best freshman pitcher in the country. That's all I'm gonna say. So the girls are over there rolling, man. I see us competing for another national championship this season.
LeBron is playing really good for the baseball team too. Yak, I think was it 2 last night or the night before last? What was it?
Night before last,
Night before last. Yak, 2 of them. And I turned on the game right when he hit the second one. When he hit that bat, it was like ding. I was like, yes, sir. Put that out there.
It's nice to have a LeBron that everybody can cheer for.
Yeah,
right. So it's a LeBron, except for Auburn fans. So, what's going on, Joe? Welcome into the show,
up, Joe?
Man. Make sure you hit subscribe and like. Thank you so much, Mr. Edwards. Herb, wrap us up tonight for the 1st and 10, brother.
Well, that's what I was going to give you. Mine's going to be a little more serious, man, just because of what's coming out with the Rondell Moore stuff, man. First, shout out to his family for sure. And if what they're talking about is it's really self-inflicted and this is all how it goes, man, I just want to say, look, anybody out there that's got issues, our DMs are open, phones are open, man. Find somebody. If you don't know, we're strangers. Like I know the guys on this panel would say the same thing. Talk to somebody. Get some help, however you can get it, whatever. Talk to a stranger, talk to a family. I don't care, man. But I would hope that in my circle, especially, man, I've made myself open. If I never have, this is me doing it again. But please get some help, man. I hate to see this for him and his family.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on that real quick, man.
And Herb, no. One, I'm glad you said that. I totally didn't forget about it, but it's been on my brain heavy. That I thought about Kyron Lacey. I know that situation was crazy with the police stuff or whatever. But hey, man, that stuff can be fixed. People make mistakes.
Yeah.
Some people break laws. What it is, man, nobody's perfect. But yes, I agree, Herb. If you're having any type of mental issues or anything like that. One, I will say this: Jesus Christ is the number one person that can get you right. Okay, and sometimes you need that in human form, though. That's where God works through people. So make sure you please contact somebody. Like hit me, Herb up, Domo. I'm pretty sure Wyatt would too, man. Nobody wants to see nobody do anything like that, a permanent decision off of a temporary feeling. You know, that's so sad, man. And Herb, I'm glad you said that, bro. That is a not on Bama part, but that's something we needed to hit. That's a great thing. And then I think I saw I cannot remember his name, but he's retired. He played for the Lions. I cannot remember his name, but he posted a long thing about how if the NFL actually cared about your mental health and the players' mental health, that they would do more than what they do in just painting on a field or making a promo commercial. They would actually be more invested in these players and stuff like that.
Was it Brady Volko?
Yes, yeah. I like that post. I was like, hey, he's played in the NFL, so he knows more than the average fans know on how things go inside locker rooms and organizations versus what we think we know. So I think that's good. We're going to switch gears, guys, and we're going to get right into the tab. We got some great I got tongue twisted. We got some great questions tonight, guys. We're going to pop out the first one right here. Wyatt's going to start us off. Starting quarterback announcement. When do you think this will come? Why do you think it'll come? And when I mean the why is like the timing of the decision. Would it be July? Would it be August? And if it is, why would that be?
I think it'll be similar to the Ty Simpson timeline where you saw it kind of come out pretty quickly after that second scrimmage there. Just because there's a couple of reasons here. Number one, a lot of people think you may get a decision in spring ball because you don't have that quote unquote spring transfer portal window anymore. However, there's been some discussions behind the scenes, and I'm sure it's been out there publicly as well about kind of a loophole in that, right? And I think there's a couple of people that have talked about it, but players will, if players decide, okay, well, I don't want to be at this institution anymore, I've already gone through spring practice, you could see somebody unenroll from their current school, enroll in a new school in a summer or fall semester, and kind of circumvent the transfer portal that way. And we've already seen it happen once.
Yeah, with the kid from Wisconsin, right? Yeah.
But you've already seen it once when you look at Jake Retzlaff last year. Was at BYU. Ended up being named in an assault lawsuit. His defense was that, hey, everything happened consensually. Well, by that being his defense, it broke the BYU code of conduct, and he would have been suspended for his senior season. So he unenrolls at BYU, enrolls in Tulane as a, I guess, preferred walk-on, but he was getting so much NIL that he didn't really need a scholarship, and he ended up starting at Tulane last season as their quarterback. So I think there's kind of that loophole that you'll see some players try to take advantage of. Maybe nobody high profile, but somebody's going to try and take advantage of that loophole here in May. So I think coaches are still probably going to wait on that decision process. And then another thing too is competitiveness, right? If you go out and name, let's say seniority perspective here, let's just say it's Austin Mack, right? And they name Austin Mack as the starting quarterback at the end of A-Day. They're in April. Well, why would Keelan Russell continue to work in the summer and the fall if he knows there's a 0% chance I win this job between now and the opening week of the season? So from a competitive standpoint, you probably want that competition to last as long as possible, just so that way these guys are continuing, iron sharpening iron there when you look at getting ready for the season.
Yes, definitely. Herb, is there anything you want to add with that? Right, that was a lot of information. I don't think a lot of people know about the whole unenroll, enroll, because I've heard about it, but you saying it just makes it more clear, because I thought it was like a Twitter, one of those Twitter rumors that kind of just float around that happens. And we saw that last year too. And then I'm thinking you just made my brain wonder there. Herb, you got anything you want to add with that?
Yeah, no, and I feel like it was like a Wisconsin to Miami thing or something like that too, where another kid had done it. I think
there was also a lawsuit involved in that one.
Yeah. No, I think it's perfect. There is no real reason to give anything early. I also think that even if they name one, I would not be surprised, at least for the first couple games, that you see both quarterbacks. And the way they did the schedule this year is much better than starting it all. Like, you should never have your new quarterback start off at a school like Florida State that's out for blood. So starting it off the way they're starting it off, I would not be surprised the first 2 or 3 games that you don't see both, or let's say, like you said, Austin Mack wins the starting job, that Keelan Russell doesn't have a couple packages where they want to see how he handles it and gets out there in live game action. So, no, I think that's perfect.
2016 situation. I mean, obviously it's 10 years ago, and it was the Nick Saban era. But look at that. Everybody thought Blake Barnett was freaking Marcus Mariota. They was like, this the white Marcus Mariota. I've heard that the whole time he was there, coming up leading to it. And I was hyped about Blake Barnett. I was hyped. I'm talking about glued on YouTube looking him up, hyped about him. And then Jalen Hurts comes in, and then he fumbles, and you're like, well, what is going on here? Like, do we have a quarterback? And then, the Jalen Hurts saga takes off and things going from there. So I think, at the same time here, the quarterback situation will work itself out. If they start a guy and that guy comes in and say he doesn't do good and doesn't do what he should, I think they go with they give the next guy a couple reps and something's going to click. These guys know ball. Austin Mack's been in the system now, I think, 3-4 years with Kalen DeBoer and transferring over. Yes. And then Keelan Russell now going on year 2 right here, being recruited by him a year prior to that. So relationships go a long way here. Domo, is there anything you want to add with this, brother?
It's a battle that I'm ready for, but I'm also ready for it to be over. Because I think we all can agree it's going to be the biggest talked about QB battle in the country. Next season by a mile. They started talking about it last season, so we're going to hear a lot of Keelan Russell versus Austin Mack talk. So I'm ready to get it over with. Secondly, where are people finding these loopholes at? Because the onion roll and then roll, I did not hear about that at all till Wyatt just said it. That is insane. Like,
everybody's got a team, Domo.
Entirely new NCAA, because it's like, bro, there's no way like y'all just keep getting outsmarted like this, bro. So that's crazy. But yeah, we're gonna see what happens. But that's about it right there. So
yeah, and
that's what happens when they started the NIL with no rules, and so
no rules.
We can pretty much do what we want to do.
I just basically said, "Hey, pay everybody now. We don't care. Do what you do."
Right.
And so I thought this was something that was interesting. I was listening to. It's a little bit off subject with this, but it's going to tie back into it when we were talking about the loophole situation right there. They were talking about how the NCAA, the reason that basketball is called the NCAA tournament. Okay. The NCAA has a lot of power over that tournament. Okay. The college football playoffs is now ran by the NCAA. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So there is like the NCAA can be like, oh, this, that, and the third, but there's plenty of loopholes. We just watched a pro basketball player essentially come back and play college basketball because of a lawsuit. You just watched the Miami Duke situation going with that quarterback with lawsuits. The more Wyatt said that, rather just made me think that yes, there's not a lawsuit that can't get you out of this. And these kids got money. It ain't like they're broke. Like these guys got money. They got paid to go to these places. Like Keelan Russell is doing plenty fine. Austin Mack's got probably good too. And I guarantee you, to get Austin Mack to come back and not enter the portal, then or vice versa, Russell or him, something was said to them to like come back.
Sure.
So I think that's a big key too. Anything y'all want to add with this before we move on real quick?
Nah, we good, bro.
All right, so we're going to get right into this one. This is a very good topic right here because a lot of people like to talk about the transfer portal. And when you ain't hitting the transfer portal, fans hear it. And then when you're hitting recruits, you hear that you ain't hitting the portal. And then when you ain't hitting the portal, you ain't hitting recruits. So you got to be perfect, all right? You got to be perfect. So we got some guys that have came in. There's been a lot of criticism for some guys that we've got in the portal that were some people judge off stars, the 3-star, the 2-star thing, 4-star, 5-star. Wyatt, I want to ask you, who is your favorite transfer portal? And maybe it's your favorite because of like it's the need we needed for this, position. What's a guy you like this year for the Tide in the transfer portal that we got?
So outside of the Hollywood Smothers situation, which don't even get me started on that. Outside of that situation, I feel like Alabama actually did a pretty good job in the transfer portal. They finished second for Cam Coleman, and it really just kind of came down to Texas has a veteran quarterback. Alabama doesn't. So that's kind of what that one came down to there. But looking at the transfer portal additions here, there's a lot of really good ones. My favorite's going to be Nick Brooks, though, the offensive lineman out of Texas. He's another big body guy, 6'7", 247 Sports lists him at 349 pounds. But he's a guy that was very, very young last year for Texas, but still got some valuable reps. I believe he made 4 starts, or no, he appeared in 4 games with 3 starts, started at left guard against Oklahoma, Kentucky, and Mississippi State, and then played garbage minutes against Sam Houston against or at right tackle there. But Steve Sarkisian actually was really, really complimentary of Nick Brooks after that Red River rivalry game. He said, I've got the quote right here. I think he's in the best shape he's been in since he got here. He was over 360 pounds in training camp. He was in the 350s this weekend, talking about Red River rivalry. He was a shade over 330. He's getting in better shape and he's better conditioned. And then he said, if he trusts those guys around him to make the calls, he's got the ability to play at a high level, basically. Yeah. So looking at the offensive line, you lost 6 out of your 7 preferred guys from last year. The only guy returning is Michael Carroll, who has 5 career starts under his belt. Nobody else in this offensive line, at least that's retained in this room from last year, has started a ball game at the collegiate level. And so getting a guy with a little bit of starting experience in Nick Brooks, he's hungry enough that, he's not this multi-year starter where he just comes in and is guaranteed that starting spot, right? He's still got to work for it, but he's got some starting experience within the SEC. He's a very big guy, like I said, 6'7", 330 pounds. And he's already got, kind of the seal of approval from Steve Sarkisian, who's an offensive guru. Now he's coming in here to Tuscaloosa, among the 11 new offensive linemen, and is one of those guys that, like I said, he's got reps at right tackle, he's got reps at guard. So we know he can play both tackle and guard. So he's got 3 spots that he theoretically could compete for a starting spot at.
Yeah, and that would be that's actually a huge benefit that some fans don't even understand, because if you got a guy that's not good at this position, but he's good at that, you're like, well, we could just move Brooks here and be just as good, and this guy can excel in left guard or wherever you put him. I think that flies under the radar a little bit. Hey, I believe Crimson, rewind the whole show to the very beginning, and we all spoke about it right then.
What's up, Kyle?
So, I forgot that was Kyle, actually. I forgot that was Kyle. So just rewind the show, and it's right there at the beginning, bro. Herb, is there a transfer portal guy you like that the Tide got? Nick Brooks is a great one. Like you said, losing a lot of production out of that offensive line and then getting this guy in is fantastic. Herb, who you like?
Yeah. And I'm not going to say he's my favorite, but I wanted to make sure I picked somebody I didn't think everyone else was picking. I'm going to go with the addition of Josh Ford at tight end. I thought we had, and it's kind of like last year when we started adding guys because people got hurt. I was already interested in seeing what the young guys would do, and with Caleb Edwards, Marshall Pritchard. I thought they would kind of get a little bit more. But them going out and adding him and talking about his versatility, but also, the ability to catch as well. And you just think about what we lost with Cuevas, and just kind of reading articles about it before we got on here, and they talk about his experience and having a young tight end room. I think with the way that we're going this year, with wanting to run more, but also having to, whoever starts going to be a first-time starter. We all know tight end is also a great safety blanket for guys like that. I thought that was one of my more interesting ones, like that I didn't think would be one of our portal additions, but we go and grab him. And I'm like, oh, okay.
And the first one, Herb.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the first portal edition we got was Josh Ford.
I think they nabbed him before Christmas.
I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure that happened like right at the end of the season, like right when it happened.
Yeah. So that was interesting to me for sure.
Yeah. And
can I say this to what Roll Tide said? Racing, because I don't know if anybody else is taking Del Gotti. Raj, that was his favorite. So sorry, man. I don't know. Somebody posted it over there, and I'm going to tell you that that was Rod. He even did a video on him.
Yeah.
So sorry if that was going to be yours. You still speak on him. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, we're good.
Following Raj's footsteps.
Yes. That and Josh Ford, Oklahoma State, if I'm not Oklahoma State, right? I don't know why I always think of Oregon State and Oklahoma State. Their colors are right there, and I always just get them two blended. And, Jamarcus Shepard just went to Oregon State, so I get those two blended. I remember when that first happened, I was like, brain was like, no, that I'm thinking the same thing, but it's not the same thing there. Domo, what's a portal guy you like that the Tide got this year? It may be something that goes good with us right here. Maybe a personal one you like. What do you think, bro?
Well, Racing Del Gotti was my pick, who I was gonna speak on, but just whatever. But I'm gonna have to go Caleb Woodson. when you're losing Deontay Lawson, Jefferson, and Nikai Hill-Green, you're losing your main 3 linebackers. And I thought that the linebacker was going to be really young. So I thought that offensive line and linebacker should have been like a point of emphasis for Alabama. You go out and you get Caleb Woodson from Virginia Tech. And when you really cut his film on, the guy is sideline to sideline. Very physical, like wherever the ball is, that's where he's going to be. So he's going to be that veteran guy that comes in and just like has that veteran leadership. Day one starter. I feel like he will be the Mike backer. So yeah, I'm gonna go Caleb Woodson. So yeah,
that's a great one. I like that one, Domo. I think Roll Tide Productions hit a good one too that I like. That Alabama was recruiting very well. So when he was in high school, they were going after Ty heavy. He got flipped over to Michigan. Obviously, they probably offered a bag to him. I can't, and I'm sorry, guys. If you were in the same position as some of these players, and that money's getting thrown at you, I'm sorry. It's hard to say no to that. So I can't be upset with the player when they.
I'm all right, but Roll Tide, you've thrown out 3, and we only get 1 pick.
Yeah,
I need you to lock in. I need you to lock in.
So
you can't wait till we say one and then just name another person.
Hunter took the one I was about to say. Noah Rogers, because I said it before the show too. I like Noah Rogers a lot. He was an elite recruit in high school. Went to Ohio State. Didn't some things happened. Probably didn't get a lot of PT like he wanted. And then ended up going to NC State. Played well there. And I think he's going to transition very well for Alabama this year. Don't forget, everybody's I think a lot of people are overlooking, obviously it's not transfer portal, but Rico Scott in this situation too. And I think Noah Rogers and Rico Scott is going to be a very, very interesting wide receiver question when you like, hey, who would you take over 500 yards this year? Because I think these guys are going to compete for a lot of starting time, and not just start playing time. I wouldn't say just starting time, because you can start and then miss 90% of the game. It's playing time is what it is mostly, not just starting. But give me Noah Rogers. I like him a lot. Terrence Green, that's a great one. And I mean, a lot of people says a lot of great names there, and that's good, because the reason I want to touch the transfer portal is Wyatt said it best right here when he started out. The only thing we fumbled on was the Hollywood thing, and you can't be mad at Bama for that, because if this guy's eyes are looking at something sparkly and something sparkles and he goes, you can't, you know what I'm saying? He's going to go. You can't hold somebody hostage. That's what it was.
Mean, the funny part to me was he brought up winning, and you went to a team that they didn't even make the playoff last season. So you brought up winning, and then you went to a team that was in the Cheez It Bowl. So, I mean, I mean, I do have a question for Wyatt or any of y'all want to answer. So when it comes to the offensive line, in my opinion, I feel like that right side might be kind of set, because I got Strayhorn and Carroll holding down that right side. I feel like the biggest battles would be like on the left side. So what are some guys on the left side that you feel like can be our starters at left guard and left tackle?
So real quick, starting on the right side there, you got Michael Carroll, Strayhorn. He can play both those guard spots. So again, that kind of positional versatility. If, let's say Strayhorn's your best right guard and he's your best left guard. Well, if you've got somebody who's also a very, very good right guard, maybe isn't quite as good at left guard, maybe you do kick Strayhorn over to that left spot and you still don't have too much of a drop off on that right side of the line. But I do think Strayhorn is, I'd say, the early favorite. Obviously, spring ball hadn't started. We just started fourth quarter program last week at UA. So still got a lot of time between now and September 5th against East Carolina. But I do like those two on that right side there. Obviously, Racing Delgatti, he's kind of the favorite to win that center position there. He's going to compete with a couple of guys, though. I know they're working with a lot of these guards on snapping the ball to kind of get them some experience at center. I know Strayhorn is one specifically that they're working with on snapping the ball. So you could see a competition there. Now on that left side there, I think there's a lot of really, really good competition on that left side there. Like I said, Nick Brooks can compete at that left guard spot. He's made a couple of starts there already. Ethan Fields, the offensive line transfer out of Ole Miss, is another guy that really big body. And I do think that he can really compete at a high level for that left guard spot. And then I throw Ty Haywood in that conversation as well, because again, that positional versatility. We know he can play tackle because that's what Alabama recruited him as coming out of high school there. But he can kick inside a little bit. He's got that size to be able to kind of play both those spots. So I think you'll see a lot of competition and a lot of rotations in spring ball. We'll get to see some spring practices. And so, of course, we'll be, taking pictures and videos and posting whatever UA will allow us to post. But, day one, it may be one group of guys on the offensive line, and day two, it may be a completely different set alongside Michael Carroll there. So I'm really, really excited to see how that battle will go. But I would say right now, for me, it feels like they've got a lot of faith in Jackson Lloyd there at that left tackle spot. And then I'd say as of right now, my offensive line would probably be from left to right, Jackson Lloyd, Nick Brooks, Rayson Delgatti, Caden Strayhorn, and Michael Carroll.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually, right there. I'm gonna clip that, Wyatt. I'm gonna clip that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run that back right there. I like that a lot right there, actually, because that's a lot of people talking about the quarterback battle, and we can talk about a quarterback battle all day long.
Yeah.
But this offensive line, as we saw, the run game, it don't matter how many running backs you got either. If we can't get some line work going here, I mean, to an extent, the running back's got to break some tackles, make a man miss some when he gets in the second level, but as soon as he's touching the ball, he's got to make three dudes miss just to get to the line of scrimmage. Like, come on, man. I mean, that happened so many times last year to where they're handing it off, and I mean, dude, a one step away is a guy right here.
Yeah,
that's 6'7", and he can reach you like right. So that O-line play has got to be, and that's one of those cliche things where it's like, oh yeah, everybody knows the O-line. Well, yeah, it's a big deal. Like, and some people overlook it at times. And I think a lot of our problems last year was run game, but O-line as well.
Yeah.
Not all, but there was some in that right there. And that's great way to point on that too right there, guys, because O-line is going to be a heavy thing this year for us.
Well, and you mentioned it as well, and a lot of people talk about, in modern football, it's all about the quarterbacks, it's all about the receivers, right? But look at the teams that competed for championships in the NFL and college. The Seattle Seahawks, nasty defensive line. The New England filthy defensive line. The New England Patriots, Christian Barmore, Anthony Jennings, those guys, Bama guys too, Bama boys too. Those guys were able to do a lot of really good things on that New England defensive front. And then you look at the college level, right? Indiana had one of the best offensive lines in the country, and their defensive line was able to disrupt a lot of really, really good players. I mean, they played really good teams, Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, Miami. They played a lot of great teams with some high-level draft picks on those lines, and they were able to get to the quarterback. And then, look, I mean, Miami had probably two of the four best pass rushers in the country, in Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain. And so everybody talks about skill position and offense and things like that. At the end of the day, it's very cliche, but there's a reason it's a cliche. Trench play is you win championships in the trenches.
Yeah.
Bingo.
You talked about that. If you look at Miami, you basically had like two skill positions you were talking about, with Tony and the running back. And after that, you're just like, they're just beating people up and waiting for someone.
You had role players after that.
Yeah. You weren't talking about the best wide receiver group in the country. You're talking about just give him enough time to find the one guy that we got, and or we're going to pound the ball down your throats and, lean on our defense. And that's how Miami is winning games. So
Fletcher came on hot too in the playoffs for Miami, which was great because he caught on. And that helped Carson Beck out. When you got not just Carson Beck, help any quarterback out. You got a guy that can run the ball. I mean, you're gonna have to fill that box up, or guess what? He's gonna get 6 in a pop every time, and you're gonna get a first down on the second down or third. It's gonna be a short third every time, and then the defense coordinator's like, all right, we got to put somebody in the box. And then the quarterback has a single coverage throw to an electric wide receiver like Tony. That can all he's got to do is catch the ball. He can catch the ball behind the line of scrimmage and take off. Yeah. Electric player. I think that's great right there, guys. Great points there. Offensive line is a need and it's a must. It's not just a get some big guys and push somebody around type deal. You got to be in sync. There's an art to it as well. A lot of offensive linemen. It's a joke, but I've seen guys on like TikTok when they go up to like they're eating lunch or whatever. Yeah. And like their friend would be like, break down, and he like break down and start blocking just like random stuff. And it's funny, but it's like at the same time, it's like, hey, it's an art to it when you block a guy. All right. The offensive line is trying to stop chaos and control chaos, and the defensive line is trying to create chaos. Okay, so it's just chaos meeting each other, and it's a beauty thing when you got an offensive line that can control it. So We're going to move into
and real quick, and the offensive line hire of Adrian Clem, moving off of Coach Cap. Adrian Clem, I'm really, really high on him.
Yeah.
He was the offensive line coach at both the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots in the NFL. But in college, he was a part of that Oregon offensive line. He was the coach of that Oregon offensive line that only allowed 5 sacks on Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And I just, Pac-12 ball, whatever you want to say, but they had a 1,000-yard rusher. Bo Nix was only sacked 5 times in that season, and they still played. That was 22. So I mean, they're playing high quality competition. I think they even played Ohio State that year in the non-con, if I'm not mistaken. And so you're playing very high level competition. Your quarterback sacked only 5 times, and he's not the most mobile guy. We all know about Bo Nix. He's not the most mobile, but he can. He's got a little wiggle to him.
Yeah.
But if you get in there, you get a guy like a Keelan Russell or an Austin Mack that I feel like is a little bit more mobile than that. Assuming everybody stays healthy, I do like the direction that this offensive line is trending so far.
I do too.
Somebody mentioned the addition of Richard Owens. I like that too to help bolster. I know it's as the tight ends coach. I think that's a good addition to help offensive line as well.
Hey, -3 rushing yards.
Yeah.
-3 rushing yards. I don't. We got to do better than that. There's no way we do
know
worse
what?
than that. Give me the new O-line coach.
Speaking of that, shout out to Coach Cap for getting that job.
Shout out to Auburn, baby.
Man.
Thank y'all.
Cap, man. I'm proud of you. You go right ahead, bro. You go right ahead. Yeah. Shout out to
Auburn,
Coach Cap,
dude, listen. When I tell you that it is like a movie that is written almost.
Yeah.
You can't make it up. You cannot make it up at how the dice rolls. We'll definitely take our switches on assistant coaches. I'll take that. You can have Cap. We'll take Nick's. That's cool. I'm cool with that all day.
Yes.
I kind of like what Kalen DeBoer said about it to end that right there on the Cap thing. Kalen DeBoer said this about we have a lot of new guys in this room, and he felt we needed a new vision for the new guys in the room. And, I mean, obviously he's got to say something where he don't come out and say, yeah, he sucks. You can't come out and say those things as a head coach. Well, you can. I mean, you can.
That would be the greatest interview, though. Yeah.
Well, Saban could probably do that. You'd be like, yeah, he sucks. So I had to get somebody else. And you'd be like, yeah. But, I feel like you gotta have a little more in the trophy case to kind of throw that out like that, and a little more weight to you. But at the same time, though, you want to be professional, too, in that level. And when you're up on a professional level like that, you don't say what you feel necessarily. You say the correct things. So, yeah, we'll move into the last topic tonight, guys. This is one that I saw a lot of people talk about, and it's been a topic for the past 2 years. Actually been a topic since Jameson Williams. I'll say that. 1K wide receiver in 2026. Will we have a guy that can break through the ceiling? We do have guys.
Yeah.
Ryan Williams is plenty capable. A lot of people talk about the drops last season. Domo and me have doubled down on this plenty of times about how a great athlete's going to have some ups and downs. He's a great athlete. He's young as well. He's going to come around. The end of the season, he started to come around. Some great catches, getting hit while he was catching the ball. So I'm excited about that. Wyatt, lead us off tonight, man. Do you think we're going to have one in 2026? And if we don't, do we have a guy that has the potential to possibly do it maybe?
You're not going to have one, but you do have guys with that potential, with that talent level, right? Obviously, Ryan Williams is so I covered high school football in Saraland for 3 years, the 3 years that Ryan was in high school. So I covered him in high school, immediately came to UA, and now I've covered him for the last 5 years, basically.
That's wild.
I've covered him for 5 years now. So trust me, he's got the talent to pull something off like that. But you also look at some of the other guys in that room. Lottie Brooks did very, very well towards the end of the season there, and he popped up in a couple of key moments. The big one to me is that fourth down against Missouri up in Columbia, watching that ball and throwing catch. And I don't know how Ty made that throw, and I don't know how Lottie brought it in, but props to them. So those are two guys that are incredibly, incredibly talented. Noah Rogers, like you said, is another one that has absolutely got that talent level. You don't end up at Ohio State as a wide receiver unless you've got the ability to be a first round pick level talent at wide receiver. And again, things didn't quite work out the way that he wanted to, but he still did really good things at NC State. Now he's here at Alabama. I would say that's probably your top 3 next season as of right now, just returning veteran guys. But, Rico Scott, like you mentioned, that's a guy that, did really well in that bowl game against Michigan down there in Tampa. And then I thought he was going to have a little bit more of a presence this season, especially after that first week against Florida State, where he caught one of 2 touchdowns Alabama had on the day. So I thought Rico Scott was going to be a little bit more, didn't quite end up in the rotation the way I had thought, but I think it was good for Alabama to get him back out of the transfer portal there. And then a 5-star kid, Darian Morgan.
Yes, sir.
He's going to be what I'm hearing about that kid.
Yeah.
Oh my word. He might pull a Ryan and come out and start game 1 freshman year.
Woo!
He's got the talent for sure to do that.
I agree.
I watched several of his games again. They played against Saraland in the playoffs last year, so I went and watched that game because Saraland's also my alma mater.
Okay.
So I went down and watched that game. I don't know that there's 40 kids in the country better than him. I don't know that I agree with that 247 rating. He's really, really talented. So there's a lot of mouths to feed unless somebody does take that, massive leap in 2026 and have a, just a Jamison Williams type season. I don't think you're going to have a 1,000-yard receiver, but there's absolutely the talent to do it. And hey, you never know, right? If I think Jeremy Bernard had 862 yards. Yeah. He had 862 last year. Ryan, for all of his, drop problems, whatever you want to call them, he had 689. So I mean, if you take their game averages, you add on the 2 extra games in the semifinal and the national championship, theoretically, Jeremy's over 100 or Jeremy's over 1,000, and Ryan's right there probably at, I'd say, 800, 850. Maybe if he does have a really good name, he's up there at 900. So theoretically, if Alabama does pull it off and they do end up going to the national championship, I think just because of number of games, you could have a 1,000-yard receiver. But if we're talking just 12 regular season games, I don't think it'll happen this year.
Yeah, and that would be the thing that you would definitely have to, in order for this to happen right now, unless this offense goes light years above what we saw last year in the passing game, like you said, 12 games. Would definitely need an SEC championship, a playoff run in there to stretch it out, to hit it. And I'm about like you on this. Last year I went heavy on, we're going to have a 1K wide receiver. I remember I said Williams, I said Jeremy Bernard, and Isaiah Horton was going to fight for 2 and 3. I was kind of right. I was a little bit wrong. It was more Bernard up and Williams and Horton went there. But at the same time this year, it's kind of like it's almost the same thing. There's a lot of mouths to feed in this wide receiver room and a lot of great guys. And then, like you just mentioned, Darian Morgan, a question mark of how much play time does he get? He's a freshman, but if he comes in and plays and he's on the field doing it, you don't take him out of the game. Like, like Ryan Williams in the Georgia game his freshman year. Dude had the tip catch, pull in, and then the spin around touchdown. Everybody knows about that play. So he had an electric, start to his career. And Darian Morgan, I think, could come in and learn some from that too at the same time. Like, hey, come in strong, stay strong. Don't let anything get ahead of you too much right there. Because I think a little bit got ahead of Williams right there in the offseason and stuff. It's a lot of moving pieces, man. And I'm excited to see him back this year, though. But I'll say Ryan Williams, leading receiver, 900 and probably 50-something yards. He's going to come up shy. But I do think he's about a 900-yard wide receiver this year. I think you're going to have Brooks on his heels right there with 800-900 as well. I think he is going to be very solid. And then Rico Scott and Noah Rogers, in my opinion, and Darian Morgan probably in that too will be that. Not saying they'll all share the same role at wide receiver, X, Y, Z, or wherever they line up. I'm just stating playing time-wise that those 3 guys will probably be rotating off playing time. Now, things can change. This is just a kind of bold take here. Herb, what do you think? 1K wide receiver in 26, yay, nay, who you think?
No, I think that's a no. I was high on that train last year. I think for the reasons you already gave with the wide receiver room being full. So I'm going to add in the emphasis on the running game as well. We'll take away from that. So
beautiful.
And, the way this wide receiver room is built, I could just see first 3 or 4 games, you have a different leading receiver like every game. So I just don't know that anybody's going to build up enough reps, especially in the regular season with the 12 games. Like you said, if we make a deeper run, I could see it. But no, there's going to be an emphasis on running the ball. I think the tight ends will probably take away from a couple of those catches, like you said. So I am on board with the Ryan Williams bounce back. I do think that happens, but I absolutely believe Cedarius Morgan is a starter by year's end, and we're just kind of, depends on where. I think Brooks probably enters as your wide receiver one, just given how the season ended. Mm-hmm. But I also think there's some pressure on Grubb, man. Put guys in the right spots. Yes. Maybe draw up better plays to get guys, in those spots or get them open. So there's a lot of pressure on everybody. But no 1,000. But I think you'll be happy with the production of at least like 3 to 4 of the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Herb, I didn't mean to take all of them. I saw what you said. I didn't mean to take all of them. I got to talking. I get excited when I get to rolling, and I'll just start naming off. The next thing you know, I'll be talking about Tyrone Poto, and I'll be talking about DJ Hall. So I mean, hey, talking about DJ Hall is probably one of my favorite wide receivers of all time at Bama. I was before the Julio Joneses, the Devontae Smiths, the Amari Cooper. DJ Hall, if you was to put him in one of them offenses, oh my God. Oh my Lantis, dude. Number 22, boy, that was my dude. I remember that.
They got Jersey, right?
Receivers. Do what?
They got Jersey?
I have Mark Ingram's jersey. That's the Rose Bowl one. That was actually one of my most sentimental gifts ever from my dad. When we went to the Rose Bowl, I ended up getting that for Christmas, and that is like my go-to lucky jersey. If the game's going bad, that jersey's coming on, baby. And I will switch probably 30 jerseys a game. That is true. Herb will be switching hats, glasses, putting in contacts if he's got to. Different shirts, socks. Go take a shower.
This last year, this was one of the most nerve-wracking years. We could not put teams away. We would blow leads all the time, and we just made. We'd have 2 good drives in a row, and the third drive would just be like, all right, all the plays that we were just doing, let's throw them out and let's do something totally different on this drive. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, well.
Herb, I got it. Let's do a triple flea flicker on 4th and inches and end up 20 yards behind the ball. Break. Like, I didn't get some of the play calling, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say that I am smarter than any of the coaching staff or anybody making those decisions. But I do scratch my head on some of those 4th and 1s, and I was like, what? What was that? Like,
dog, the amount of times I was standing on the field at the end of a game thinking, oh, crap, here we go.
Yeah.
Nerve-wracking. And I've spent the whole game, doing the recap story, like Alabama's won the game, and then, it's a 3-point ball game. I'm standing on the field with 2 minutes to go, and Bama's got 4th and 1 on their own side of the field.
Yeah.
And it's like, dog, if I'm going to have to turn around and immediately try to fix this story in the post-game press conference.
Oh man.
Not to mention the fact that, I joined the beat I guess 2 seasons ago now. Kalen DeBoer's first season was my first official season on the beat. I've been a part of 4 field stormings. I'm tired of field stormings. Yeah. All right. I'm over this crap.
Yeah.
Quick question with that, Wyatt. How is that? Like, is it as threatening as some people say? Obviously, like some people are like, I felt like my life was in danger because of, so many people rush to field. And obviously I can see where somebody could say that because you got hundreds of thousands of crazy people going crazy.
Certain environments, I will say yes. Vandy wasn't bad at all, but granted, there was like 20 Vandy fans in the stadium that day. It was mainly
call-in resources.
Yeah, it was Alabama fans trying to get out of there. Was the main problem in that stadium. But I will say, Tennessee was really, really rough.
Not bad.
Just it was an immediate swarm of people the second that game ended there, and so I mean, I'm standing in the gate of Alabama's locker room. And there's people, Alabama staffers they're snatching media members that they recognize, trying to get them off the field, snatching players, snatching assistant coaches, doing what they can to get them off that field in Knoxville. And then actually Norman, Oklahoma, when they stormed it twice, that first go round, I saw a lot of Alabama staffers and a couple of media members too get shoved to the ground in the back from some Oklahoma fans. That one was probably the roughest. Florida State they were very respectful, actually, of Alabama players and media and people of where they were.
That's good.
They try to get out of the way as Alabama guys are coming off the field there. But I will say Oklahoma, that was the first one where I was like, okay, like there may be some crap that's about to go down here on this field. Like, we got to get out of here.
God, I hate that, man. And if you're a fan that jumps the field and runs on the field and gets excited, that's cool. Going up to a player or going up to a media guy or anybody like that and cussing them out and acting like you are better than that player that actually plays the game is crazy to me when fans get in these players' faces and are like, flick them off or cuss them out. I'm like, dude, who are you?
If you get punched, I don't blame the players.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
I'm okay if a player takes a swing at somebody. That's a hot take. I'm cool with it. If you're
that on any side, any team. If a player feels threatened from a fan approaching him like that and that, don't go do that. You don't do that. I wouldn't do it to Auburn players because they won or a D1 player. I don't like Auburn, but I'm not going to disrespect a person that has put in that grind to get to where they're at. He's worked his ass off to get to where he's at. What am I, a fan, to come up and yell at him? Like, who are you? Like, now at my house and my TV, I will do that at my house and my TV because I pay for my house and my TV. Now, when you're in public, I think there is a thing you have to like shield things. I'm a crazy fan, but in public,
you gotta have home training. Have home training.
Mutual respect for people. Like I'm not gonna yell and cuss and scream when there's kids right here. You know, that ain't mine. I'm not gonna cuss this player out of this fan out because of X, Y, and Z. Like, it's just not the thing to me. You know, and hey, I mean, if you look at it too, guys, we can always say this. At least our guys, we have more playoff wins than we do arrests for our players. Okay, so I'll say that versus Georgia. Georgia's got more arrests than they do playoff wins in the past 4 years.
Or Hunter. Hunter
I saw him in the comments. That's why I said it. He said something about Georgia media. That's why I brought that up to troll real quick. But as we get off tonight, Domo, you want to end us real quick, man? Is there a 1K wide receiver or anybody you want to add to that right there that you like, or anything like that?
I'm gonna go against the grain, man. I got Ryan going for 1K.
Okay.
I think this year, man. Like Ryan said on Instagram, like, hey, stay on that side. You know, I think Ryan gonna be very pissed off this year. You know what I'm saying? It's the money year. This is our last year with Ryan Williams in the Alabama uniform. You know, barring something crazy happen. So I got Ryan Williams going for 1K. Yeah.
Well, the way Domo was with predictions. RIP to Ryan Williams next week.
Domo and Hunter on their we have a show on Friday nights, and Domo and Hunter and other guy.
That mean that man ain't gonna get 100 yards this year.
They have a preview show, and them boys said that I remember that time they said, "Yeah, we're probably gonna have about 150, 200 rushing yards." And I remember us having like 26 that game, and everybody was like, "All right, next time say we're getting 30. None."
Yeah, we need to have 30, bro.
That was actually pretty funny though. But that's exciting, guys. It's going to wrap us up for tonight. Thank you guys for joining us as always. Big shout out to Wyatt Fulton for joining us, guys. Make sure that whether you are from the area in Tuscaloosa, if you're definitely from the area in Tuscaloosa, you turn that dial tone to 100.9. And them guys, Ryan Fowler, they will have you guys lined up for all Tide stuff. Also, if you can't catch it there, you can catch it at Dips and Odd Places. That's how I listen to it through social media most of the time. Ryan, I'm about to call you Ryan, and I was talking about Ryan. Wyatt, let the people know where they can find you at, brother, what you got going on, man, and all the great stuff you do, brother.
Yeah, I'm on the air on Tide 100.9, 1 to 2 o'clock every weekday. We talk nothing but college football, 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year, barring some holidays here and there. 100.9 on the FM dial, 1230 on the AM dial. If you can't listen to it while I'm on the air, go to wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, whatever. We got the podcast there, the Deep South College Football Show. Love talking college football with everybody. And then you can follow the page at deep_south_CFB on X, formerly known as Twitter. And then my Twitter handle's been there the entire time at FultonW_.
And hey, guys, that Deep South football, he's talking about, that page is doing really well too. Love it. It's for college football fans, especially in the South, but college football fans altogether. I've actually follow it. A lot of great content on there too, guys. Make sure y'all go over to X, follow that. Make sure you check out his show as well. We are very thankful that you joined us tonight, man. Maybe we have you back on June, July, build up for the season. We could do another show. Thank you guys for giving us Kat in there, Raj in there, telling us great show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Herb, let the people know what you got going on, man, where they can find you at in the Herb and Raj podcast.
Herb and Raj podcast. Check us out on YouTube. Same on Twitter. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central. Like this week, we'll be doing a live stream of the Alabama basketball game. Since that, last week we came on, tried to think at the end of the Arkansas game, and they just decided to go through our whole show. So that was an intense time. So if you're watching the game, come log in with us. We'll be watching the game this Saturday too, this Wednesday too. And then on Saturday night, the Unhinged show, 8:30. Bring your own drink. They forced me to drink moonshine. They forced me to drink, this other bottle. Yeah, it's been some fun shows the last couple weeks. Oh, forced.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I saw it like right here off air, like just the little tip of it. Like, hey, you better put that shine. You better boom. And then, hey, you better refill it and do it again.
What can I do? Multiple shots. I just don't feel like
hey,
going.
Hey, sometimes you gotta do that. Cat just calling it out. Right
I didn't know y'all throw down like that. All right, now I know you my kind of people. Let's go.
So why?
Anytime you want to stop by a Saturday night, just hit us up or just log on. We've had somebody on the way outside. Cotton was in the chat one night. It was like, hey, can I jump on? And he jumped on in the middle. So, like I said, just bring your own. Or I have plenty. Just happen. So if you're in the neighborhood, we'll fill you up as well. But yeah, anytime you want to jump on a Saturday, man, it's a fun time.
Yeah, well, they have a great show on Saturday nights, and it's laid back, man. People know that when they come on, it's not really too much of agenda. It's kind of like everybody kind of chills, a couple shots here or there, and it goes.
Same the two guys who were shooting Mountain Dew and water on our show.
Yeah, see, that's me.
You, so
that's me. I'm drinking Dew. I ain't much of a drinker. I'm not much of a drinker. Okay, and if I get to drinking on here, you're gonna have my wife come in here and get me off because I'm be over here like, oh. Herb, you know this. You know this when we went to the games when we were drinking. Yeah. I'm over there talking about something. I'm still halfway through mine. I'm like, Herb, what are you doing? Throwing it away? He's like, oh, I'm done. I'm like, how? Like, we 5 minutes ago got this drink, and then Mia's over here, and my wife's throwing hers away, and I'm like, oh, I'm the baby. All right, I'm the baby of this joint here. Dombo, man, let the people know what you got going on, where they can find you at on Friday nights. And man, let them know about the new guy you got coming to y'all show and to our channel as well.
Oh man, my boy Corey Bama. Okay, he's coming up on TikTok. If you ain't heard of him, get familiar with him. Okay, he will be joining me and Hunter as a new panelist officially. Okay, throughout the season as well. This Friday night on the Bama Blueprint. Okay, you can also find me here Sunday night Talk'N Bama. Okay, but in all, you can find me on the best Bama channel there is, the Roll Tide Nation YouTube channel. You can find me on TikTok at Domo Reacts. That's DOMO_reacts, and you can find me on X at just Domo Reacts. So yeah.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for joining us. Went a little over tonight, Wyatt. I apologize, but great conversations, great talks, man. Hard to put a time limit on that. But thank you guys for joining us. And as always, we don't give a piss about nothing but the time, baby. Give me Bama by 55.